If God exists, then why is so much suffering in the world?
Well, suffering comes from lower states of consciousness, which is less of the grace of God.
Uh,
Right. So more of God in your life, right? As we've seen with all these clinical trials and all these results, is when there's more of the grace of God, right? It's a clear indication that God wants you to be happy. God wants what's best for your life, because those are the outcome we see. When this energy is evident, God doesn't damage or hurt or do anything adverse for you. God always supports. God always leads you in the direction for your greatest growth and happiness. We don't know what your problems are, and God is always aware of what they are. God knows what your problems are. God knows your issues. God knows how to solve them. So a lot of these things, I think, are because we have removed God from our lives, right? What transformation is when you're not constantly evolving and transforming, right? Energy either moves forward or backward. There's nothing static in life, right? And so when we look at energy in that way, then we have to understand, what is transformation? You take a seed, for example. A seed transforming, is it, getting planted in soil, sprouting, turning into a plant or a tree? It goes through periods of transition and growth. That's called transformation. If you just take a seed and don't do anything with it, inherently what will happen, if you just take a seed, put it in a box, over years of its life, it will degenerate, it will lose its potency, and eventually that same seed, if you try and plant it later in life, it will no longer grow and flourish and transform and evolve. It loses that potency. So the way our lives are led, the way that we have removed God from our lives, from a lot of the way we conduct ourselves, from how we're nurtured, how we're taught, growth and transformation happens. A lot of these things are preventing us from harnessing the ability and utilization of true transformation. So over time, we have no choice but to degenerate. That's the natural flow of energy and how energy works. So, we can say why God did this. I have no idea. It's hard to say why God does anything unless you are God. So even the enlightened can't tell you why God does certain things. But all I can say is transformation is what is required for us to continue to grow and evolve and experience well-being, mental health, peace, all those good things in life. When transformation isn't there, we see exactly what happens with our lives now. Mental health crises, mental restlessness, poor quality of sleep, poor health. All of these things are indicative of consciousness that has not been able to transform and move in a direction for its greatest growth.